Step into a world of romance and mystery with Tamora Rose. Today we're reading Chapter 33 of Child of the Wind. After questioning every man, woman, and child they could find, Jett and Mac thought they might actually be on the right track. A young boy had told them about a pretty lady sleeping on the grass with a big man watching over her. Though they didn't know for sure, Jett was convinced it had been Canace and her kidnapper the boy had seen. It had to be her. Now they just had to find her. If it hadn't been for Mac, the task might have been impossible. Jett couldn't track, not very well, but Mac was an expert in such things. Together they had found the broken branches where a horse had turned from the road. Now they only had to follow the horse and pray it truly did belong to the man who'd stolen his wife. Because the forest was dense and they didn't want to make a mistake, both men dismounted. Walking their mounts, they scanned the ground and kept their eyes on the trees. Since they had no idea what to expect, they didn't know what they were looking for. A glitter of sunlight off moss caught Jett's eye first. Moss didn't reflect light, so Jett bent for a closer look. There, nestled amongst the foliage of the forest floor, was a thin silver chain that had once adorned his wife's ankle. He should know. He'd fastened it there himself. "It's her," he told Mac as he retrieved the chain. The Scot glanced over his shoulder. "Are you sure?" Jett held up the delicate chain. "I'm sure." Mac didn't ask any more questions, but they did quicken their pace. "Is there anywhere he might have taken her around here?" Mac asked. "I'm not nearly as familiar with the area as you should be." He had a point, but Jett hadn't exactly spent much time roaming the countryside. Racking his brain, he tried to think, tried to remember. Were there caves? No, not here. There was hardly anything beyond streams, fields, and forests. No caves. They had to have gone somewhere. The forest gets denser the further we go, he remembered. There might have been an old hut or something. I'm not sure. It was years ago, before the old Earl died. I'm sure it's probably fallen in by now. Probably, but it was a place to start. So Jett took the lead, trusting in a childhood memory. It was ridiculous, but it was also all they had. A childhood memory and a silver chain. It wasn't much to go on, but it was better than nothing at all. At least they might be getting close to his wife. Even if they weren't, believing so was keeping the panic at bay. Just barely. But it was enough. The pair moved quietly, hoping to approach unnoticed, so they heard him before he heard them. At first, the sound was no more than a rustling of leaves. It might have been the wind. Soon, however, the sounds of a horse and rider came to them clearly through the dense wood. Jett glanced over his shoulder, motioned for Mac to leave the horses, and crept toward the sound. The large Scot was right behind him, making absolutely no sound as he wove his way through the foliage. How such a big man could move like that was a mystery, but Jett had other things to worry about, like the man passing all too close. Before Jett could decide what to do about it, Mac was throwing himself at the rider. The horse reared, unseating both Mac and the stranger. As the pair rolled, grappling and struggling against one another, Jett decided to do something useful. He darted forward, drew his knife, and threw it with all his strength. It flew with deadly accuracy, brushing past Mac's raised arm to lodge itself in the man's shoulder. If this man was guilty of nothing in particular, he'd apologize later. The stranger was clutching his shoulder now, leaving him fully in their control. Since the man was even larger than Mac, that could only be a good thing. At least he wouldn't be attacking them in his present state. Still, both Jett and Mac drew their swords in case the stranger tried something foolish. "Where is she?" Jett snapped, almost certain this was their man. When the man said nothing, just set his jaw and refused to speak, Jett was convinced of it. Enraged and worried, he lashed out, letting his foot connect with the dagger he'd thrown a moment before. The blade was driven deeper still. The stranger gasped and fell back, landing in a bed of moss, but he made no other sound. So Jett kicked him in the leg, at which point Mac intervened, pulling the young man off the stranger. "Killing him won't help," the Scot explained patiently. "We don't even know if he took your wife. If he didn't, he would have said so." That sounded perfectly reasonable to Jett. "Probably," Mac agreed, "but we don't know for sure. We have to be sure." But Jett wasn't willing to take the time, so he walked away. "While you do that, I'll look for Canace." Mac hesitated for a single heartbeat, then pulled a rope from his belt and bound the stranger's hands behind him. Not bothering to remove the dagger from the man's shoulder, he hauled him to his feet. "If you know where she is, I'll make sure you're not executed," Mac promised, pushing the stranger before him. "But if you stay silent, I will kill you myself." "So you have judged me guilty with no proof?" There was no heat in his words, only a quiet resignation. "Absolutely. In this, Jett was correct. If the stranger had been innocent, he would have denied any knowledge of the girl." "What is she to you?" the stranger asked. "I understand why her husband is here, but why are you?" "I raised her as my own. She's the closest thing I'll ever have to a daughter. So believe me when I say I'll kill you if you don't speak. And if she's dead, I'll kill you anyway." An ominous honesty filled the air around them as the stranger contemplated those words. Finally, he paused and glanced back at his captor. "Swear in your honor that I will live," he demanded. "I'm a man of my word," Max said calmly. "If you lead us to her and she yet lives, you will not be harmed. Then we had best hurry. Her cousin will kill her for sure." At the mention of a cousin, Max's blood ran cold. There was only one living cousin, and that man would do more than kill her. He would destroy her, body and soul. Raising his head, Max shouted, "Jett!" That's it for today. If you enjoyed this chapter, stay tuned for more tales of romance. Until we meet again, may your days be filled with passion and just a touch of magic.